At just 19 years of old, Trevor Bayne has already accomplished a lot. 3 pole positions this year, 4 top 5 finishes, and he comes to Watkins Glen 8th in points.
Hey,
what's going on, guys?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing great, too.
Are you?
Yes, sir.
How's the road course racing treating you today?
Man, it's pretty wild. I always love when we can come out here and mix it up a little bit. You know, we do all this oval racing all the time, and I really enjoy these road courses. It's a lot of fun to be had out there.
Did you ever do it like growing up as a kid or anything?
Not really. I've actually only run 3 races, and one of those was at Road America earlier this year. So raced here at Watkins Glen in the Camping World E-Series, finished 3rd. So we've got a little bit of experience at this track, but not much overall road course experience.
Well, I got to know real quick. I mean, you've been top dog for the last 3 weeks in the Nationwide Series. Going to pull another one out of the hat tomorrow and go sit on the pole here?
Ty Norris said if I sat on the pole here, he'd go do the chicken dance in his underwear on the start-finish line.
All right. Write that down.
Right.
That's good incentive.
So, you know, we need to pull that one off somehow, but it's going to be tough. I mean, I really don't expect that just because I'm not one of these road course ringers that they bring in. You know, Ron Fellows, Boris said, even like Carl Edwards. I mean, I consider him one of the ringers, and Kyle Busch. But we're getting there. You know, it just takes time to build up to that. But those 3 poles in a row in the ovals, man, that was I was really excited about that. To see our team at Diamond Waltrip Racing building up to that, because we had our tough spot in the season, but they stayed behind me that whole time. You know, I mean, they never let go, never let down on me. My sponsors stayed behind me with Aaron's and Outpeg Care, and now we're making progress. So it's all turning out okay.
Trevor, no driver in the history of the Nationwide Series has ever sat on 4 consecutive poles where they ran 4 consecutive races. When you sat on that pole last week at Iowa, which was your 3rd consecutive, you surpassed Jeff Gordon as being the youngest driver in the Nationwide Series to do it. In fact, when he did it, I think I read where you were 1 year old. But here's what's even cooler. You joined the likes of Jeff Gordon, Sam Ard, Mark Martin, and actually your owner, Michael Waltrip. Pretty good company you're keeping there.
That's very good company, and I hate to break Jeff Gordon's record. I mean, he's the man, but that's really cool, and it's a honor to be considered in that group. You know, when I heard that the last person to do it was in 1992, that gave me more motivation than just setting the 3 poles in a row. I was like, man, I thought somebody probably did that last season. You know, that you don't think of that as being that big of an accomplishment, but man, that was really exciting to hear that.
Trevor, you know, any young race car driver needs to get that break or that opportunity. And the fact that you are just 19 years old and that you've accomplished as much as you have this quickly is amazing. But was it one big step? Was it a couple little steps that got you to this position? How did the opportunity arise?
I think it's both. You know, those little steps lead into the big steps. You know, we were racing every weekend in go-karts, you know, and you had to be there, had to do that stuff. Moved to the Allison Legacy Series where I actually raced against Brandon McReynolds some. And then in the Hooters Pro Cup Series, when we made that jump from Allison Legacy to Hooters Pro Cup, a lot of kids step into the late models, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then you're stepping into a pool with 200 other kids your age, and when we were able to get the sponsorship and I had the parents behind me and all the things to move to that Hooters Pro Cup Series at such a young age, it kind of set us apart a little bit, and it gave me that next step. I was racing at 15 years old at Bristol Motor Speedway when I met a guy by the name of Pat Suey, and you know, he introduced us to a lot of these Cup teams. You guys probably know
Chevrolet,
Pat.
right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And introduced us to a lot of teams. Actually got me in the door at DEI, and that was the big break that it took to get into this pool of people and start building those relationships.
Well, how did you cross paths with Gary Bechtel? Because he was the first guy that gave me a break at a very, very young age, and I know he's kind of been on board with you guys at Diamond Waltrip Racing.
Well, that was the next huge step. You know, when we started backpedaling a little bit at DEI, when the doors kind of closed there, Gary Bechtel was there to open another door for us. We met him at Daytona at the first race in the Nationwide Series. I was sitting on the sidelines like, man, what am I going to do this year, you know? And I talked to MWR a little bit about what they had to offer, had a few races with no sponsorship, and Gary Bechtel came along and saved the day. You know, he's been a great guy, a great friend. Him and his son Blake are really involved in this team, and they've got a great thing going there at Diamond Waltrip Racing.
Hey, a lot more with Trevor Bayne coming up. Hey, are you not sure who has what it takes to claim the checkered flag?